Doesn't being a professional footballer look like fun? Getting paid a very tasty amount to play the sport you love in front of thousands of adoring fans, when there isn't a global pandemic taking place, that is, and being cheered on by millions more around the world. Where is the downside? Sign me up! But don't let the glitz and glamour fool you, it isn't always happy smiles, rainbows and Bentley Continental GTs. Just like us, footballers are only human and they too make mistakes, except we don't have a massive audience watching on when we make mistakes like dropping a whole plate of chicken vindaloo onto your kitchen floor to then be eaten up by opportunistic cockapoo puppies, and yes, that was only a one-time thing. You are watching Code Baldry and here are the 10 worst footballing performances ever. Number 10, Massimo TAIBI vs Chelsea. Oh, what a way to start the list and what a way to bring to an end a 29-game unbeaten run. That is exactly what happened when Manchester United travelled to Chelsea back in 1999. The Red Devils suffered a 5-0 humbling and TAIBI, who was a replacement for the Great Dane Peter Schmeichel, was caught with his pants down, or more accurately, caught with his black Sports Direct jogging bottoms down. Which just goes to show, just because you're Italian, it doesn't mean you were blessed with a sense of style, mamma mia. TAIBI is already established as a cultural figure within the English game, as during his spell with the Manchester side, he made multiple iconic howlers that cost his side goals. But it was against Chelsea that he endured his lowest low, as his first error came only after 27 seconds, as the keeper rushed out and clattered Dennis Irwin, allowing Gus Poyet to head into an empty net, and things only got worse from there. Poyet scored a second that game after a tame shot was parried back to him by TAIBI, and later on in the game the drubbing was sealed as substitute Jody Morris slotted the ball between the Italian's legs, and again, mamma mia. Number 9, Jamie Carragher vs Manchester United. Isn't it funny how different things could have been if people weren't offered a second chance? Well, this is very much the case of one of Liverpool's favourite sons, Jamie Carragher. The Bootle-born centre-back established a career at Liverpool which spanned 17 years, in which he became one of the symbols of the city, along with England teammate Stevie, the Beatles, Cilla Black, and the sight of someone defecating on the Sun newspaper. But all of this could have been so different after one game against bitter rivals Manchester United back in 1999. In the heated affair, Sir Alex Ferguson's side secured a priceless 3-2 win, with Carragher scoring 2 in his own net. The brace of own goals topped off what was arguably one of Carragher's worst ever performances for the club, and following this, Gerard Houllier never played him at centre-back ever again. But it is safe to say things turned out good for the man from Merseyside, as he now features in one of the best footballing TV double acts going. How lovely. Number 8, EMMANUEL EBOUE vs WIGAN. Ah, EMMANUEL EBOUE, what did we do to deserve you? Next on the list we find one of arguably the most popular Premier League players in recent history, Arsene Wenger's versatile Ivorian fullback. EBOUE joined the Gunners in 2004 and played 214 times for the club, including the 2006 Champions League final. Apparently a very popular figure in the Arsenal changing room and a fan favourite to the Arsenal faithful, EBOUE played arguably his best football in North London, but it was also here that he faced his worst moment as a professional footballer. In 2008, Arsenal were playing Wigan Athletic, and EBOUE stumbled onto the Emirates pitch that day with no clue how to play football. For whatever reason, the Ivorian just could not get his game together. Every attempt at controlling the ball was hapless, and he even ended up tackling his own teammates. When your own fans boo you off the pitch, you know things have not gone to plan, as EBOUE the substitute was substituted. The ultimate humiliation. Thank goodness AFTV was not a thing at the time, as I can't imagine Man of the People, Troops and Claude would have that many things nice to say about dear Emmanuel. However, in 2011, EBOUE joined Galatasaray, where he won 3 league titles, the Turkish Cup and the 3 Turkish Super Cups, so all's well that ends well. Number 7, Jonathan Woodgate vs Athletic Bilbao. Now, it isn't often that a man that was born in Middlesbrough ends up playing for European giants Real Madrid, and maybe there is a reason for that. Woodgate impressed a lot of people during his time at Newcastle United, as despite injury problems, he produced a number of top performances for the Magpies in Europe. These impressive performances led to Real Madrid signing the Englishman for £13.4 million in 2004. And did Woodgate have a long and thriving career at one of the world's biggest football clubs, I hear you ask? Well, the answer to that would be absolutely not. As you will recall me saying, Woodgate was unfortunately injury prone, suffering from injury problems about as much as the Joker suffers from being a bit mentally unstable. The defender failed to make a single appearance in the entire 2004-05 season, but after over a year since joining the club, Big Jonathan got a chance to make his debut against Athletic Bilbao. And what did the Madridistas receive for their patience? An own goal shortly followed by a red card. Safe to say it was not the debut that the man from Teesside had been dreaming of over that year. He went on to play only 9 times for Madrid before returning to his hometown club Middlesbrough after a loan spell at the Teesside club. There's no place like home, especially if most of your limbs don't fully work. Number 6, Oliver Baumann vs Hamburg. Ah, the beauty of the internet. and the beauty of YouTube, making it so that any mistake you make in life has the opportunity to be immortalised forever and ever, never leaving the public eye. The future is here. This has made life for present-day football fans very tough on some occasions, as whenever something embarrassing happens to their club, friends of theirs, instead of taking the moral high ground, and rightly so, will torment their pals non-stop with clips and gifs. But it is no different for professional footballers. Now, no one is perfect and everyone makes mistakes, but when someone makes 3 mistakes in one game, you know for sure they are staying away from social media that evening. In 2013, Freiburg captain and goalkeeper Oliver Baumann had one of those days. His side lost 3-0 to Hamburg and he was at fault for all 3 of the goals, with 2 of the errors being carbon copies of each other. Bad enough, right? Wrong. To make things even worse, the official Bundesliga YouTube channel uploaded Baumann's highlights from the game, if you can call them highlights, and titled the video "A Keeper's Worst Nightmare." Ouch. Number 5. Ali Dia vs Leeds. One of the most ridiculous sagas in Premier League history. In 1996, Southampton manager at the time Graham Souness received a phone call from someone who was claiming to be the most recent winner of the Ballon d'Or and World Player of the Year award, George Weah. Why would he be calling Southampton? A very good question, and one of the many loopholes in this outrageous story. In the mentioned phone call, Weah brought to Souness's attention Senegalese footballer Ali Dia, who is apparently George Weah's cousin. According to Weah, Dia also played alongside him at Paris Saint-Germain a number of times, and had also represented his country. Souness invited Dia down to Southampton for a training session, and here Dia claimed that not only had he played for Senegal, but that he scored 2 goals for them days before the training session. Despite the whole story being fabricated, Dia blagged his way into a 1-month contract and even made an appearance in the Premier League against Leeds United. He came on as a substitute in the 33rd minute to replace an injured Matt Le Tissier, and in Le Tissier's words, he ran around like Bambi on ice. Eventually the substitute was substituted himself. Despite everything, Dia stuck to his story, and eventually it came out that before signing with Southampton, Dia had not been with Senegal, but with Tyneside club Blythe Spartans, who are currently struggling in the lower leagues. The only reason Dia is not higher in this list for his one-time Premier League cameo is because he wasn't really a professional footballer, was he? A truly unbelievable story, but in fairness to Graham Souness, you have to ask why and how Paul Pogba allowed this to happen. Number 4. Jonathan Walters vs Chelsea. Many football fans love a forward player that gives his all and does not shy away from defensive duties, but this is one of them occasions where fans probably wish their forward had let the rest of the team do the defensive work. Back in 2013, Stoke City striker Jonathan Walters had an absolute horror show against Chelsea. The Irishman opened the scoring with a powerful diving header, but it sadly was in the wrong net. Lightning proved to strike twice as Walters repeated his unwanted trick, heading into his own net again from a corner. If it wasn't bad enough for Stoke already, they conceded a penalty which Frank Lampard scored, followed by a 4th goal from Eden Hazard, but in the dying moments of the game, Stoke earned themselves a penalty, which they gave to Walters as a chance to redeem himself. But you can see where this is going, can't you? You know how this nightmare story ends. Walters stepped up and cannoned the penalty against the bar. Optimum misery achieved, and all of this on a cold night in Stoke. Number 3. Stan van den Bijs vs Anderlecht. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who the hell is Stan van den Bijs? So here is a quick historical recap of our Belgian friend Stan, who has lived the ultimate stress-free life that has never been filled with anything but love, happiness, puppies, and all of that good stuff. Oh, except for the one day where absolutely everything went apocalyptically wrong and it felt like nothing would ever go right again. So, back to Stan. Stan was born on the 8th of June 1957 in the popular holiday destination of Kalmtut, Belgium. As it turns out, Stan was one of the many celebrity locals to have come from Kalmtut, as well as Karel Bossart, who was the designer of the Atlas missile, and Willy van der Steen, the Flemish comic book creator of Spike and Susie. Did you know that Kalmtut also had... Sorry, I'm getting carried away. What was I going on about again? Oh, of course, our man, Stan. Anyway, Stan van den Bijs had a thrilling playing career, playing for the likes of Berkham Sport, Molenbeek, KFC Wustenwessel, and Germinal Eckeren, where, oh my god, Stan's life took the absolute turn for the worst, and now he may never properly feel love or hope ever again. Sorry, it happened again. In 1995, Germinal Eckeren, featuring our hero Stan, played against Anderlecht in the Belgian Jupiler League. Anderlecht won the game 3-2, but unfortunately, and I say this with every fibre of my being, Stan the man unfortunately scored not 1, not 2, but 3 own goals. I know, right? Omega lol. Oh, when will the sun stop shining its false sense of warmth and hope against our pathetic skin? Sorry. Again. Now, records always explain how the third own goal against Stan was pretty harsh, and apparently a video from Actueel TV appears to show that the third goal was in fact put across the line by an attacker. But sorry Stan, that's just how life is, my friend. History in fact remembers the winners, and you, my friend, are a winner on this list and in our heart. Go on, Stan. Number 2, Martin Palermo versus Colombia. For number 2 on my list, we need to head all the way to South America for a game in the Copa America between Argentina and Colombia. Argentina, without question, are a country with a stellar footballing pedigree, having provided us with some of the finest footballing talents the world has ever seen. But as it turns out, one of them also provides us with this unwanted record. In 1999, Argentinian footballer Martin Palermo had an almost impossible day. Palermo didn't miss one or two, but three, count 'em, 3 penalties in a game. What? How? I can't believe you've done this. His first penalty hit the crossbar, the second penalty he shanked over completely, and the third was saved by Colombian goalkeeper Miguel Calero. Palermo was in no way at all a bad player. He was in fact a pretty good footballer, being Boca Juniors' all-time top goal scorer, having netted 236 times for the club. Ironically, Colombia won the game 3-0, just to add to the narrative of one of the most stunningly bad performances ever. But, like all heroes, Palermo kept working hard despite his international career seemingly over, and he got some redemption. After a 10-year exile from the national team, coach of the Argies Diego Maradona recalled Palermo to his squad for a World Cup qualifying match against Paraguay. He also featured in a 2-0 win against Ghana in which he scored both goals, and he also netted a 93rd minute winner against Peru. This earned Palermo a place in the Argentina squad for the 2010 World Cup, where he played his first ever World Cup match and scored his first goal at the competition, making him the oldest Argentine footballer to score at a World Cup. Fair play, Martin. And number 1, Loris Karius versus Real Madrid. I think it is safe to say you all knew this was coming. Oh, poor Loris. But this performance just had to be number 1. Not just because of the 2 massive howlers, but because of the stage where they happened. In the 2018 Champions League final, Liverpool took on Real Madrid. For Liverpool, it was a chance to win their first bit of silverware under Jurgen Klopp. For Real Madrid, a chance at winning their 3rd Champions League in a row. There was an incredible amount of hype for the game, which many hoped to be a brilliant game of football, but absolutely no one could have predicted what unfolded. Real Madrid took the lead in the second half after Liverpool goalkeeper Loris Karius rolled the ball into Madrid striker Karim Benzema's foot, directing the ball into the net. Oh my. The second mistake came late in the game with Liverpool still in with a chance, but that chance was dashed when a speculative effort from range by Gareth Bale just went straight through the hands of the despairing Karius. Misery complete, dream over. You know a performance was bad when it is how everyone will remember that particular final, and not because of one of the greatest goals in Champions League history that also occurred. And that is my list. Did I miss any out? Tell me about it in the comments, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and you can follow me on Twitter here. This has been Code Bawdry. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Take care.